Hi everybody, welcome back to Exehaven Harbour. Today is Friday the 28th of March. I've got another week and a bit until I go away with Mrs Exehaven for a little bit of winter warmth. Friday is usually let's sort of take that round there, ease your back. Friday's meant to be my gardening day, and today I was going to get out there and really start cracking on the lawn. I've managed to get some of it cut, but it started pouring a rain. So we're back in the cabin. So I'm currently procrastinating, as is my wont, about what I'm going to do with the estuary. Am I going to get the water in before I get the bridges in, or what? Honestly, it's driving me crackers now. It's the thing that's on my mind when I go to sleep. Now, the way that I'm going to do this isn't a resin pour. Okay, this is going to be purely made up of these mediums that Liquitex do. And from what I've seen, the effects are really good, and you don't have all the problems of running and creeping and all this sort of stuff with the resin. So what I may very well do is actually paint it the colours, and I'll film it all so that you can see my process. And like I say, this isn't my idea. I've got this from Boomer Dioramas, and his water on his layout looks really good, and he hasn't had any resin pour. So he's obviously quite experienced in modelling, and I'm going with the method that he's used. Now, I've still got to add some more pieces to go underneath this bridge support, just to make sure that they come up to the right height. I don't know quite what happened there, because they were at the right height before, but I've got a feeling they were, because that's quite a tight gap, they were actually resting on the edges of here, so and on the other side. So that's I've got to do that, and what I'm going to do is give this another rub down, the estuary, and another coat of this Rust-Oleum clear sealer. So that's what I'm going to do this morning, or I'm going to do for the next, well, half an hour or so, and then I shall get back onto some track laying. So I've got right round to here now, because I've added a piece in here, but I've got to take that piece out, put some wires on it, some droppers. This piece was already in. I'd left that in. That's pretty well laid, that track, so I'm going to leave it as is, and it comes down to here, and what I'm going to do is, I think, is just bring it up to the bridge, where I think now I've made up my mind. All I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is stick some track down onto the bridge, but that will be the length of the bridge, and the joiners will join the track ends, because it's sort of well, it's kind of temporary but kind of permanent, that fix will be, and I will do the same for the arch bridge at the back. So yeah, I've kind of come to that decision now. I don't want to, it will be fixed permanently, but it will be able to take out. That's what I'm trying to say, is that if I ever need to, I'll need to take the bridges out, I can. I can't think of a reason why I would, but you know what it's like with this hobby. You know, I might change my mind with the bridge and build another one, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so once I've got round to there, then we're going to come down here behind all the wiring. Some of this track is already laid, but I'm going to relay this, because there's going to be another junction that goes in there that will take some trains up and through there, and some will continue round, and this will be the track that will lead to another part of the harbour. So this area here is Exehaven Central. I'm having second thoughts about this now as well, but nothing's in stone yet. Nothing's in stone, so we'll have a good think. But I don't really want to make curved platforms because I'm going to have to make a curved platform down there. But I think I'm going to have no choice if I want to run a coach train. So again, something that I can contemplate while I'm on holiday more than anything. But I'm just going to get it laid how I want the track, or at the moment I want the track laid. This junction will come out. I don't mind it, but it's two curved points forming a curved junction, and I just see that being as a bit of a running hazard in the future, and that will just be moved down to here, and we'll see how we go with that. Okay, so that's where I'm at the moment. Obviously plenty to do. There's still a long way to go to actually complete the circuit, so this would be Exehaven Central or Exehaven Town Station. The tracks come out of there, and then we'll go up on this section here, past this. Well, the girder bridge will be a bit further up, but I'm still working on that gap, or will be working on that gap, and the track will come right round up to here. It will then go over the arched bridge that sits at the back. It will come down here where the train is now and just join up here. So, you know, once I've made my mind up what I'm going to do with the estuary, then we'll take it from there. So I shall be back once I've done a few other things, which will be nothing for you, but maybe a day or so for me. Right, so I thought you might be interested in how I attach the track to either my wood base layer or the Woodland Scenics risers. Now these tiny little screws, end gauge screws, the shorter one I use to go into the plywood or the wood, and the longer one's going to the Woodland Scenics risers. Now the reason that is, the longer one does give you a better, let's call it grip, into the polystyrene that the risers are made out of. The shorter ones don't give you such a good grip, but into the wood, the longer ones are a problem, because by the time you've screwed that in, the head and like this tiny little screwdriver, it's like a crosshead, Phillips stroke, whatever, the head gets worn, and if you're screwing that into the wood halfway down, that gets worn out, the head on that. The shorter one doesn't. It's not that it's any harder, but it's obviously just a shorter length of turning into the wood, and it manages to do that. The other thing that I do is I use a mat pin, which gives me like I think I've got one prepared over here. Probably see it better in the camera. There it is. So I use one of those to go into the sleepers to give me like a starting point for the screw to go into, and I tap that in with my hammer just here, and that seems to do the trick. It is a bit difficult to try and get the mat pin right into the centre of the sleeper, but on the whole it's not too bad. I might get a slightly side one sometimes, but it still grips the track okay. So I just thought you might be interested in that. But yeah, it's fiddly. Let's put it like that. Right, so it's invaluable really to test your track, and it's exactly what I've been doing this morning. Now the class 24 was absolutely fine, but there's a section of track or a joint here which is a little bit, I don't really like it, and I had intended to change it, but I thought I might get away with it. Of course, I've run the schools class round there a few times now. Probably won't do it for me now. Just there. And it has derailed a few times. Let's see if I can get it to do it. I'll just keep bringing it backwards and forwards. But it certainly has derailed, and this piece is going to be in a tunnel, and I don't want to be forever taking the top of the tunnel off to get into the schools class. There, it's done it for me now. So that piece of track is my next port of call. It's a little bit annoying because it is all wired in as well, and at one of the most awkward points, but we'll have to sort that out because I can't have that happening. So I just thought I'd illustrate that, and I'll see you in the next segment. So I've been working out how I'm going to get the track to stay on the bridges, because first of all I was thinking about gluing, and I didn't really want to glue it. So where the little blue marker is, I've actually screwed that down into the bridge. There's 3 screws. Where's the other one? There it is. That one there, and then we've got one down here. And I think that's going to work quite well. Either end of the bridge, I'm just going to attach with a fish plate, and same down the other end. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in for a bit of lunch, and I'm going to do the other track at the back there, so that that's just basically in place. That seems to be a little bit out of whack, but that's easily moved over. And I think it's quite a good solution, because if I do need to take the track up, it's going to be quite easy to do. Just unscrew it basically. So yeah, good little solution. A little bit worrying because I had to use my drill to get the hole that I wanted for the screws to go in. Tiny drill bit, but I did try with my what do they call it, the little handheld one, but that didn't cut the mustard, so took a risk, took the drill. But yeah, as long as you're careful and go at slow speeds, it's no problem at all. So yeah, so there we go. Hopefully when I come back, we'll put the bridge temporarily in place, and then we can start joining the track up. So and I'll probably do very much the same for the arch bridge at the back here, to secure the track, because I think that's going to be the best solution all round. The other thing that I'm also bearing in mind now is, because don't forget this is going to be 4 tracks. There's going to be 2 sort of, let's say, local tracks, and there's 2 mainline tracks, which these two bridges will take. They're the mainline bridges, and I've got to build another bridge yet. Same height, same deck height, but that will take the 2 local lines, which will sit in front of here, or in front of this one when it's in place there. Obviously this one will be a bit further back, just join up that bit there, and then the other one will, or the local bridge, the local line bridge will go in front of this one. Now I'm pondering whether to build the same kind of bridge as that, or something else, perhaps using these plate girders, or I could use I could make some myself. I don't want something too obtrusive so it covers up all of the bridges, but we'll I'll have a think about that on holiday, I think, in how I'm going to do that. But if I build another one similar to this, actually, it's not really going to cover this one up. So that may be the solution for that. Anyway, you know, you could let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see how we go. And like I say, when I'm away, I'll have a good ponder. I'd like to have 3 different bridges really, but you know, we'll see. we'll see. Just for the sake of being different and having another type of bridge to build. But we'll leave it at that. Okay. Right, so we're back after lunch. Sometime later, the inside track is up and running, and as you can see, we've got the schools class there ready, waiting for a run. So we're getting quite close, I guess, because from the back of the train here, we have got to come round here through Exehaven Central Station, round here, up here, over the girder bridge, and round and up to the back bridge, to that bit of track there, and that will be a circuit complete. Now, I'm hoping to get that done this week, although it just depends on a few things. But it's close. I've got to say it's close, because I've kind of done the hardest bits in terms of reaching. I have got to work out the junction just down here and how I'm going to go about doing that, which is just where my finger is, which will run into Exehaven Central Station. Get my finger out of the way, just in front of my cup. So yes, it's getting there. So anyway, let's show you the schools class running, and I have done it once or twice already, because I had forgot to film it over the bridge, and it all works over there rather nice. Now this will be in a tunnel here, but it will be an accessible tunnel, and that bit of track there I had changed this morning where we kept having the derailment, and that seems to be working just fine. There she goes. I mean, the rest of this we know that, well, I daren't say anything really, but we've seen that it runs okay along here. But yeah, I'm starting to get quite excited really. I'm not sure whether excited is the right word, but a circuit is in sight. And there she comes. I'll just move back a little bit and get in place, ready to change the direction. I don't want to tip in over the edge of the track. Up there. There we go, saved it just in time. So we'll back it all the way back again over that point. That seems to all run rather well. Along this nice straight bit. I've got to say, the schools class does look lovely as it runs along. It's really, really good. And what I'll do is I'll slow it down a little bit, so we'll see it just traverse the bridge. So just here, you've got to imagine as it comes under there, there's going to be a tunnel mouth that's going to come out of there just before it crosses the estuary and across the bridge. There she goes. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. So quite a successful morning and a little bit of the afternoon. I've got to go in now because I'm going to go and get my holiday haircut. And I'll hopefully get back to you later this week. Okay, catch you soon. Right, hi everyone. It's probably 2 days after the last segment. What we're going to do today is, if I can get this tripod to work, there we go. That's it. So we've got up to the bridge basically, this front bridge, and I've put a temporary piece of track in there just when we were testing it, Where's my finger gone? There it is. What we're going to do now, I mean, I had previously laid, let's move some of this rubbish. I've been moving rubbish for a while. So all of this I've previously laid along here, and I'm going to take all of that up because we're going to have a track coming down there somehow, wherever it is, the tunnel just here. We're going to have a track coming out of there which will join up to the main line here. We're going to have some crossovers so that we can get to one line to the other, so that they can get through down to the docks. This, I think, the double track main line for the main line is going to have to be brought over a little bit. I've got to work that out yet, but I'll do that, and I'll come back to you once I've got a plan. Okay, so we'll see you in the next segment. Okay, so after a good hour or so of looking at it, trying to work it out, some imagination is still required, and I've just laid some track in, obviously very temporary. These are the two main lines coming off, and just here, that's where the crossover will take place. I think that'll be okay. Maybe round the other way actually, so we'll twist them points. That's the way. Another junction here, which is the bit that takes us off right underneath there through the tunnel to the harbour. You might be just about to see that. And these are the two main lines again, and they take us into the station. Now I'm just going to take you over the other side there and show you what I've got planned there. Right, so on the other side, and this is the Dockside. This is the tunnel from the other side there, where the tracks come off the main line, and we come into the harbour. And this may be slightly different. I might use some medium length points, I think, rather than the large radius points. We'll use the medium, just to give me a little bit more room. And this will run into, and some of you may remember this building that I built some time ago. I scratch built an old Great Western Railways warehouse I found online, and I got the pictures and I made it. I mean, it needs a little bit of, it certainly needs some finishing off, but that is the idea. And this is the harbour side. This track down here will be right down the edge, and hopefully we'll have some big cranes there. And I will probably at some stage, way in the future yet, mount a piece of wood along here just to hold some ships, you know, like the freighter that I'm building at the moment. And I think up there I've got a North Sea trawler somewhere, a Revel one, which is a 1142 scale, which is close to end gauge, so that can go in there, that won't be a problem. But yeah, so I've resurrected this, get out the cobwebs underneath all the baseboards. There are signs for it. There's everything sort of kind of ready to go. I just need to sort of finish that off really. But it'll be a little while before we get round here. But this is just to give you the idea of what I've got in mind. Originally, I was hoping that I could get a track down here in front of the station, because again I'm going to mount another board to hold the ships that will dock here, but that sort of it proved that really even with engage there's not quite enough room to make it quite right. I had a fiddle around with that for 10 minutes or so and just thought, do you know what, I'm not sure that it'll be worth the effort, but we'll get the big cruise ships coming in here, we'll get the cross-channel ferries and all that kind of stuff, so that it hooks up with the station. But this will be without track, and I think that it might be easier to work as well, to be fair, out of the station and onto the ships. It's with the track there, it just causes another obstacle for me to try and get over. But again, there'll be some cranes up here. I've got a couple of cranes and I've got to build them. They're up in my rack of stuff up here. I've got a brass one which would be interesting. I've never built a brass kit before, and I've got a gauge master one as well. So we'll, when the time comes, we'll build those. I might have to build them reasonably soon, just so that I know where I'm going with all of this track. Pardon the wires. I mean, they are all pre-soldered from the first iteration of Exehaven, but hopefully that's giving you the idea of what I'm thinking. But like I say, I just couldn't get that connection quite right, and it needed to come down there, and it just run out of room for a run round track and everything. And I just thought, no, we're going to go less. I'm trying to get away without using loads of points, but I'm going to have to use some here so that we can get into the 4-platform warehouse. I made a couple of white metal, I think they're Great Western cranes as well. They're not necessarily going to go there. I'll just put them there just to mount them. There for that, and there's the yard office there. This will all have retaining walls and stuff down the back here. Over here, which would be the loading bay for pickups for trucks and things like that, they'll be backed onto there. This side here, well, we can use that for anything really. It might not even be used as a goods kind of thing. It might be able to sort of, if we've got stuff coming in, let's say on this platform here, it'll be taken round and put over here, ready just to take dockside, ready for hoisting onto the ships. I don't know, you know, at the end of the day, I don't know much about the operations of a dock. I just like the look of the old docks and that. So yeah, there we go.